Hey, it's Ellie. Welcome back to another video, or hello if you are new. I know I haven't posted any content to my channel in a while, but Planet Coaster 2 just released last Wednesday, November 6th, and I have a lot of thoughts. If you're interested in a life update and future channel plans, stay tuned till the end of the video, but for now, I want to jump right into talking about 10 huge quality of life improvements in Planet Coaster 2 that my fellow Creative Sandbox players will love. Okay, I lied. I'm actually going to give a quick disclaimer before I start, and sorry if you just heard my cat. Please ignore the state of this park. This is my test park. This is not my best build work, but I wanted to be able to showcase some of these things firsthand, so here we are. This list is in no particular order, so let's get some of the obvious ones out of the way first. Number 1, scaling. I don't think I have to explain this one too much. The ability to scale scenery pieces makes it feel like there are so many more options in the game. I was able to build this larger-than-life entrance by scaling just a few pieces. It's particularly nice for rocks. It just looks so much better having a single rock rather than trying to create the surface with like 3 dozen different rocks basically on top of each other. It's great for signs, it's great for detailing, and just overall a huge help to building. Number 2, FlexiColor. I'm sure you've heard by now, but basically everything in game is FlexiColor, including scenery pieces, walls, and even some of the pathing, which is really great and helpful. But something else I've noticed that I'm exceptionally grateful for is that the colors seem to be pretty uniform across different sets and themes. See, in Planet Zoo, some of the different sets, whether they're from packs or themes, they would have this base color or texture that would change the way colors look on that piece. In my current zoo that I'm building, I've been using a lot of white coloring, and even though I might have 2 different pieces set to the same hex code, they look completely different when I place them down. Plaster piece, for example, has this muddy gray color even when set to pure white. It's just very annoying, and I'm happy to report that so far I'm finding the colors to be pretty uniform throughout. You can see there's a bunch of different pieces from different sets that are all white and they look the same kind of white, so I really appreciate it. Number 3, text pieces. Another obvious one, these free-floating text pieces along with the scaling option is going to add a whole new level of customization to building. It's absolutely fantastic. Number 4, advanced movement. Okay, I realize this one was in the previous games, but it's so much better now. It definitely deserves a mention. So first of all, you can use the advanced movement pieces on the path stamp tool, which I find incredibly helpful for precise placement and any height adjustments. Second, there are now measurements that show how far something has moved along any of the 3 axes, and that is particularly helpful for any repeating objects that you want to be spaced evenly, or making sure that things are still aligned properly. Lastly, the axis alignment actually stays aligned now. There's always been this weird issue with the MultiSelect where the axis ended up slightly crooked, and it screws with any horizontal movement. I'm happy to report that that issue seems to be gone. Number 5, MultiSelect. Speaking of MultiSelect, I feel like this one could be controversial because I've heard some discourse online. In previous Planet games, all you had to do was hold shift and select whatever you wanted, while in Planco 2, you have to hit I, or maybe U in some cases, then shift select or drag and click. Then you hit confirm to confirm your selection, and then you can do whatever you want with your selection. And it's not as quick or easy, but the more I work with it, the better I realize it is. It has so much more functionality now. Now, no matter what groups, buildings, free pieces, or combination of, you can always duplicate and advance on the selection. In Planet Zoo, most of the time, having two groups selected prevents you from using the duplicate feature, which can be pretty difficult to work around. Now, it works pretty seamlessly and includes the pathing. The one exception does seem to be if you have any ride in your selection, then you can no longer use the duplicate feature. However, something I recently discovered was that the MultiSelect tool actually does enable advanced movement and duplication on picnic benches and regular benches. Just like in previous Planet games, when you go to place a bench, it does not have the ability to use advanced movement. They can be really difficult to place, especially because they have a tendency to snap to the edges of the path, and that usually causes them to clip weirdly or sit at a weird angle. But if you use the MultiSelect tool, it does give you the ability to use advanced movement on the benches. And that selection can even include scenery pieces, so you can have scenery pieces on your picnic benches and duplicate them, use advanced move on them, etc. I can't even describe how helpful this is going to be placing benches, avoiding clipping, and getting that perfectly aligned courtyard or path. The amount of time that I have spent creating non-functional seating because I hate the way the benches are placed. Now I can have functional and aesthetically pleasing seating. Number 6, pathing. Okay, I know this one is going to be controversial, and I debated not putting it on the list at all, but after nearly 40 hours in the game, I have to say it is much better than the old system. I say this as someone with nearly 2,400 hours in Planet Zoo. I can make the old path system do what I want most of the time with great success and very little frustration. But being honest, there's a lot of things that I just don't try because I know it won't be possible. There are many times I have to build around my path to hide curves or edges. There are many times I can't use the natural path texture because there's that one wonky bit that got distorted, or my guests have partially sunken feet because I had to cover it with flooring. I can confidently say that I will never have to do these things again with the new pathing system. Is it a little difficult to use at first? Yes. Oh gosh, yes. But with some practice, with trying small ideas and working up, with some patience for the game and for yourself, I promise you will be able to make something so incredible with this system. I feel like I've barely scratched the surface and I'm already loving it and loving what I've seen others creating. I really feel like this is a huge win for us, and I'm sad to know that some people are struggling so much to make it work for them, but I'd encourage everyone not to give up. I think those of us who have been playing these Planet games for almost a decade forgot how difficult we found the old path system when we first started playing, but I'm sure we'll get the hang of this one just like we did before. Number 7, neutral theming. Finishing off this list with a few smaller things, I really appreciate how the base game themes are both well themed and also neutral enough to use without the theming. What I mean is most of the pieces feel like they can belong in other contexts besides just the single theme that they came from. I have not found that to be the case with some of the themes in the other Planet games. For example, the Australian pack pieces in Planet Zoo are so stylized, I find it hard to use them in my own zoo aesthetic sometimes, especially when they aren't recolorable. I will always appreciate flexibility in my building objects. Number 8, snap to position. Snap to position has more than one position now, so that's pretty neat and helpful. Previous games, there's usually just one random snap position, and sometimes that position doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense, but that's where the object snaps to, and that's what you have to deal with. I'm glad to say that is not the case in Plinko 2. Number 9, picnic tables and seats. There are individual tables and individual seats for the guests to use now. So far, none of my guests have actually used the seats I placed without the table, but being that I'm sometimes just building for visual appeal and not functionality, I love having standalone objects like this. Number 10, menu catalog position doesn't reset. Last but definitely not least, the catalog menu no longer resets when you close the menu. In the other Planet games, if you ever close the scenery or the building catalog menu, when you open it again, it would be at the top of the menu. Most of the time, any filters or search terms that you had in the menu would reset as well. This could be very frustrating, especially if you do what I do, which is endlessly scroll through the menu that you basically have memorized, looking for something that you can somehow manipulate to pull off this crazy idea you have. Having to scroll back to my position was a huge time waster, and I'm so ecstatic that wherever I am in the menu when I close it is where I am when I open it again. It's incredibly, incredibly helpful. So those are the 10 quality of life improvements I've noticed so far in playing. I have a lot more to say about the game and more videos I'd like to do in the coming weeks, so subscribe if you'd like to see those. For anyone who's been subscribed to me for some time, hello. It's been a while, like 3 or 4 years or something. I have actually been planning a soft relaunch of my channel for 2025 with more Planet Coaster videos, a huge Planet Zoo series that I've been working on since the beginning of the year, as well as getting back into The Long Dark and some of the other series I had going. Since I've been away from YouTube, I have finished my degree, gotten a job in a research lab, gotten married, and moved house a few times, so it's been a little hectic, but I'm very excited to be posting content again. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope to see you in the next one, and thanks so much for watching. Bye!